6. Let's get the calls in here. We'll start it off with Scott in Jamesburg. Scott, you're on the fan.
How you doing, Joe? Happy
Scott,
Saturday.
same to you, baby. What's shaking? How are you?
Nah, it's just love reminiscing. Happy birthday, Joey. And, the overnights, there's nothing beat the overnights. My best memories, Joe, were just those high blood pressure memories, like the night after the Detroit Lions where Parcells...
Oh, my God. The
Lions,
Neil O'Donnell. As I call it, the Neil O'Donnell game. You know what I mean, bro?
Joe, I think I didn't get in that night till about 4 a.m. But You know what? It was the days. I was in college. It was good times. And Joe, again,
Well, remember that night? If you remember, that was the night Francesa called in. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was ripping Bill. Because let's be honest, Bill was not going to let O'Donnell win that game. And if he would have just let him go, he would have won that game. And Mike called up trying to defend Bill about that, and I was ripping Bill after that game.
That is, Joe, exactly, and that's the thing. You were the voice of the fans, Joe. Only one who would call them out. And remember, that team, too, Joe, that was a fun team. That was such a fun team. And if they would have gotten the playoffs, who knows what would have happened? But what you just said, though, talking Jets, McCole Hardman's got it up. We've been a laughing stock. I've been watching since '86. Yep. We've been a laughing stock, except for the Parcells years. He was the only one and Joe, I'm sorry.
Well, we had some good years. We had some good years with Herman. Rex, we had Rex. We had a couple years with Rex. You know that.
But Joe, you know this though. The Rex years were great, and I'm with you. I'd bring Rex back. I just think what you said though with Hardiman's quotes this week. You summed it up. Leon Hess might have been great in some ways. Terrible owner. But at least he finally got it right with Parcells.
Right. Well, he waited too long though. But he waited much too long. Right.
Way too long, Joe. And then just like you said, Woody is terrible. He's the worst owner in sports. I wish he sells his team. To me, his caring is all about having that superstar in place, keeping the place full. He doesn't care about winning a championship like you do, like I do, like all of us out there, Joe, that breathe it every day. And, like when I think about this draft, why can't the Jets this year go out and you just said it, Joe Douglas was a lineman. When they brought him in 5 years ago, I figured by now he'd have an offensive line figured out. It's worse than it was 5 years ago.
It really is. It's terrible. No doubt about it.
Where's the Jason Fabini in the 4th round? Where's where are these picks? Everyone else picks a 6th-round guard they get. Why can't the Jets go in there this year? You said, Joe, I'd be happy. Pick all offensive linemen. It's a disaster. And I'm going to switch topics real quick because it's something that hasn't got talked about yet, Joe. We're March 2nd. March Madness is here. Big East tournament's at the Garden in less than 2 weeks. Yep. We have what probably is the best team in the nation in the Big East. I want to hear what you've been thinking. Patino, maybe they're there.
They're hot. They've won 3 in a row. Ever since Patino lambasted his team, right?
Pirates killed Joseph.
Right. After Seton Hall, right. They've won 3 in a row now. All of a sudden, he wears the white suit last week and all of that against Creighton. I mean, now they're rolling. And they got what? They got 2 games left in the league against the 2 worst teams, right? They played DePaul and Georgetown, right?
And then they should have, and then they'll play Georgetown and DePaul. I'm a Seton Hall guy, but I'll say this. And then you get St. John's into the Garden. They win a game in the first round of the Big East that Wednesday night. Then you see where you are, because I'll tell you this. But it's scary because I look at this bubble, Joe, and I'm hearing the mountains.
Let me ask you a question. You're a Seton Hall guy. You're a Seton Hall guy. I know they got hammered. Who was it? Creighton that beat them up pretty bad last week.
Exactly.
All right, but they've beaten Marquette. They've beaten UConn. Right. What's their what are they, like 11-7 or 11-6 in the league, right?
Yeah.
How are they not in? How are they on the bubble, Seton Hall? Shouldn't they be in?
They should be in, and that's why I'm freaking out, Joe. Joe, here's the situation. They came in this year below expectations, finished 9th in the Big East. They had a very mediocre non-conference. They didn't have a good. They were trying to find themselves. Had a terrible non-conference. Lost to USC. Lost to some teams. Didn't beat any hot. Rutgers spanked them at home.
Right.
But then, Joe, Holloway did what you always hear coaches are supposed to do. He used that non-conference schedule to build to the Big East schedule. Going in with how good this Big East is, I was hoping to be 500. And to go in, they beat UConn at home, who's the best team in the nation. They beat Marquette. They won on the road at Providence. They won on the road at Butler. They beat St. John's twice. The fact that they're on the bubble, and I'm hearing teams in the Mountain West can get 6 bids, and Seton Hall's last 4 in. But Joe, here's the situation. Here's how it sets up for them. They play UConn tomorrow, which is going to be tough.
That game. Where's that game? Game's at the Stores. That game's in Stores, right?
Yep. And they got Ian Cole in the game, which will be great. So they got the national team #1 game tomorrow. But then they're home this week. They play Villanova and they play DePaul at home. Win those 2, they're in. And also, again, they're both home games. Hopefully the Seton Hall crowd comes out and supports them like they need and deserve to, like they did last week.
Where do they play those games? They play those games at the Rock?
At the Rock. At the Rock. They're getting, so they only keep open. I'm a season ticket holder. They don't open the upper tier. They only sell the bottom half. So it's 10-5 as a sellout. They've sold out a few games this year. They sold out UConn. They sold out, they sold Rutgers. They sold out. But again, Seton Hall, Holloway has done an amazing job, Joe. He's taken players who play his style, hard-nosed defense, smart offense. He has a couple guys who have been there 3 years. He has 2 senior leaders, Kadari Richmond, Alamir Dawes, and Dre Davis, leading that team. They scored 60 in a win last week between the 3 of them, beating Butler at home. And, Joe, you have senior leadership, have some guards, get in the tournament, and you can do some damage.
They should. Look, they should. They to me, and I appreciate the call, Scott. You take care. They should be in. They should be in now. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. 877-337-6666. Let's get Geza in Middletown. Geza, how are you, man?